had a great day at school today. Tonight we're going to read I Am Harriet Tubman because it is March and we are celebrating Women's History Month, and I can't wait to tell you all about this fabulous woman who did some really great things in the history of America. Hola comunidad de Greenfield, soy Superintendent Galvan, con ustedes leyendo más historias, y el mes de marzo estamos celebrando la mujer, y esta noche voy a leer sobre Harriet Tubman, que ella hizo cosas fantásticas para las personas aquí en América. So aquí vamos a leer y aprender sobre ella. I am Harriet Tubman. Do you know what the North Star is? It's one of the brightest stars in the sky. Unlike other stars, which may seem to move, the North Star always stays where it's at. When you find it, I'll show you which way is north. Back when I was growing up in certain parts of the country, if you were Black, you were most likely enslaved. We didn't have a choice. Being enslaved meant that you were forced to work without pay, and we were treated terribly. We lived in tiny shacks with no windows. We slept on the floor or in boxes filled with straw. As kids, we had to wear sacks, and they certainly didn't celebrate our birthdays or keep records of when we were born. Worst of all, being enslaved meant we were property. No difference from a horse or a piece of furniture. That meant my family, my mom and my dad included, was owned by someone else, and they could sell us, and they did. The next time they came through, my mother was ready. Sometimes people wanted to buy my younger brother. She had asked other slaves to help her hide my brother in the woods for nearly a month, but eventually they found him. It was a powerful moment, my mother standing up to those men who were dangerous because it was what was right. After that, they didn't sell my brother. Slaves were supposed to do whatever their owners told them to do. As early as I can remember, I loved listening to my mother tell stories. She taught me some of life's most important lessons. Being enslaved was against the laws for so many of us, but she told me stories from the Bible too, including the tale of when I was around 6 years old, it was my turn to start working. Since slavery was so terrible, you may be wondering why we just didn't make it go away. It was really impossible. One night while doing errands at a nearby store, I saw an enslaved man who had left his farm without permission. I couldn't stop that man from running, but I refused to. Engaged, a supervisor from the farm picked up a heavy weight, aiming for the man, hit me in the head instead, and I got knocked out. It was an injury that forever changed my life. Since I didn't die, I decided that I had a plan for me and was guided and protecting me. Eventually, I made it to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Slavery was illegal there. I was free now, no longer enslaved. That's exactly what I did when I got there. A year after I escaped, I snuck back into Maryland. Thanks to my own trip at the Underground Railroad, I knew people would help me. No question, it wasn't safe, but it was the right thing to do. On another trip to buy some live chickens, I spotted one of my old masters, someone I used to work for when I was enslaved. And he came near me and pulled a string around the chicken's legs and made them flap and scream. Over 11 years, I went back to Maryland 13 times, personally freeing around 70 people. The move I fought against slavery, the more I realized that the only way to win was to end slavery itself. Soon after, I became the first American woman ever to lead an armed raid into enemy territory. As a master spy for the North, I led groups of scouts into South Carolina to scope out what the other side was doing. Eventually, the North won the Civil War and slavery ended, but that didn't mean my battles were over. I became a community activist, then traveled around the country talking about injustice. When I was nearly 90 years old, my dream of helping others grew even bigger as I established a new home in Auburn, New York, for the poor, the old, and sick African Americans. In my life, I was told I couldn't make my own choices, told I could never escape, but I did. I fought for my independence, and once I had breathed the air of freedom, I knew I needed to help others breathe it too. You can stay up there and enjoy the view, or you can go back down, is what they told me, and bring others to join you. In every life, we have hard decisions. At those times, we can make the safe choice, or we can make the right choice. Would you put yourself at risk to help someone else? Would you attend and stand up to someone mighty in order to help someone who is weak? To answer those questions, you must follow your heart, your own North Star. It will always point you in the right direction. I am Harriet Tubman. Follow me. I will lead you to the way to freedom. And that is our story for tonight. Thank you so much. She was an amazing person, as with so many other women that we get to celebrate this month of March. Thanks so much for joining me, boys and girls. I'm Superintendent Galvan with the Greenfield School District, sending you a great big bear hug from our family to yours.